Hello. Yes, I've got a face pack on and look really scary, but it's the one I got the other day, the mud one. I thought I'd try it out, but it says I've got to leave it on for 10 to 15 minutes, but I'm just worried that the postman's going to knock on or the delivery guy because I did order some makeup stuff that I'll have to show. So knowing my luck, he'll probably knock at the door when I've got this on my face. It's drying already. I'll probably talk in like that in a minute because it's going quite tight. But last night, just when I'm waiting for this to dry a bit, next door, they're really nice and everything. They were a bit loud last night. I don't know, a bit later on, but they were in the garden and whatever. Which reminds me of when I first moved into this house, and I didn't really know next door, like, um, like who sort of lived there, and I was on my own, and one particular night I heard this like banging, which I thought was in my back garden, and I kept thinking, what's that noise? Because it was pretty late on at night. It could have been about nearly midnight, so I can't remember what time it was, but it was later on, and I was thinking, oh my god, and this is only when I had Tyler, but I think Tyler had gone to his dad's at the time, so it was just me in the house on my own. I was thinking, what's that noise? What's that noise? So I went into Tyler's bedroom because his looks over the back, and I was like looking out the window, and I was thinking, oh, and there was a guy in next door, and with a hood up, like trying to kick the door in, and I was thinking, oh my god, what do we do? What do we do? Like, because like she's normally always in next door, and I thought, well, this particular time she must have actually gone out, and I was thinking, oh my god, like he's trying to break in, and then he was like chucking like stones and things at the window, and I thought, oh my god, and I was getting dead like, oh Jesus, what if he like comes into my garden and starts like trying to kick my door in or something? So the next minute I was getting a bit like, oh, I ran to the front window because I saw him disappear and thought, oh, maybe he's gone off now and he's gone down the street or something, or like someone's disturbed him or whatever. So I went to the front window, and as I looked out the front window, I just went, and he was there at the front with this massive pole, like bashing the window again. And I thought, oh my God, what do we do? So I was that scared. I rang the police and I was like, this guy and he's trying to kick the door in next door and he's got a hood over his head and I'm really scared, like I'm on my own and I'm worried that he's gonna like try and get into my house and like obviously I'm on my own and this, that and the other. And then the police came and they were talking to this guy in the front, and then in the end there was like a lot of talking and that and police on the front, and the police went, and then all I could hear was next door. I could hear them through the walls. And this guy was in the house talking, going, oh, they made a mistake and all this. And I actually found out that, because I was like, oh, what are they saying? That I didn't know at the time that it was my next door neighbour's son. But I think he'd gone out and got drunk. And I don't think they were in. And I think he was trying to wake them up. That's why he was chucking the stones at the window. And he was just trying to kick the door. And obviously, because he was trying to get in, he was drunk and he didn't have a key. And obviously, when you're drunk, you do silly things sometimes. And I was like, oh my god, I feel alright, Wally, but I'm not going to say anything. But I was scared at the time and I was on my own. Look, this is so drying now. Ooh, I look like a zombie. Mm. And anyway, um, if this must have been a couple of years after, it was either a year or so ago, not right, about 2 years ago. I went to see next door about something. I took her a present round for something, and I was just sat in the garden, and I said, we were talking about stuff, and I said, oh, do you know what? I've got something to tell you. I said, do you remember that time when um, the police sort of came round and, sort of, um, well, came round because someone had rang him because they thought that he was breaking into your house, sort of thing. And she was like, oh, yeah. I said, it was me. And she was laughing. I was like, it's because I was on my own and I just saw this guy, and I mean, you would, wouldn't you? He had a hood over his head, and I said, I didn't really know, um, who your family was at the time. Like, I'd seen, I think it was two daughters, but I just didn't know at the time. I was like, oh, I felt alright, Wally, but she was fine about it. And if you are watching, I did tell you in the garden that time, it was just that I was really, really scared because I was on my own. I was just like, Jesus, like late at night, there's someone with a hood on their head, they're there trying to kick your door in, and I'm thinking, oh my God. And I was just like, oh, I don't know. And I did it the other day actually. There's a house up for rent across the road, And I did it again. I thought, this is it. I just can't be ringing the police again because I just feel like a div. But there's a house across the road and it went up for rent. And then one day, and I think it's because it was early, I was thinking, that's a bit weird. Ooh, because one day, it was about, the thing gets up about 6, so it must have been about 6:30, 7:15. I noticed there was a couple sat on the wall across the road from the house on the phone, like looking at the house. So I thought, oh, they're like taking the number down of the the to let sign outside, like to ring to get ready to ring it when they're open. Obviously, this was on a Sunday as well, so I was like, oh. And they were sat on the wall, and then they moved down to the next wall and sat there and just looking at the house. And I thought, oh, they're just looking at it, thinking, oh yeah, we'll find out how much it is to rent, blah blah blah. And then I looked out the window a little bit later, and there was nobody there. So I thought, oh right. Then about, I don't know if it was about 9:30 or 10 o'clock, I saw the guy that was looking at the house come out of the front door, but just left the door wide open, not closed it a little bit or it was ajar or whatever. He just left it wide open, and he was with what looked like his wife because she was pregnant. Um, Wide open, and like just walked away, and I thought, oh, they must have been like trying to rob the house, or is it called squatting or whatever? They've got in through the back, and they must be like why has he not locked the door? I don't understand why you'd leave the door wide open. And then he went, and then like 10 minutes later, because I kept looking, thinking, well, I can't see her, and the door's just wide open like that, and I just think it's really weird. And then 10 minutes later, we came back. He'd been to the shop because he had this blue bag where the shop near me you get blue bags, so I thought he's been to the shop. This was on a Sunday, and he just went back in the house, but left the door wide open again. And I kept thinking, who does that? Who leaves the door open? We don't live in them days now where you used to leave your door open. I don't mean wide open, but like in my grandma's days when people didn't even lock the doors. Who does that? You just don't know who's going to walk in your house these days. So I kept watching, being like a nosy neighbour, because I think you just do that as you get older, curtain twitcher. But I was thinking, I don't get it. And then I saw him come out with a bottle and a knife, and I thought, or a pen knife or whatever it was, and I thought, what's he doing? And then he went round the back and disappeared, and then his wife came to the door, and she's like looking around. She was heavily pregnant, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I just don't get it. And she kept leaving the door open, and I kept thinking, well, have they broke in and they've not got keys? That's why they keep leaving the door just a little bit open. I just didn't get it, and I was getting really worried because I thought, well, what if the squatters in like what? So I was calling my friends, going, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. They said, just ring the police because they'll just come and see. And obviously, if they have moved in, but they just, I don't know, just thought it was a bit weird sort of actions that they were doing. It'll be all right. They'll just come and see because you never know, do you? So I was sat here, and about half an hour later, I saw a police car come around the corner. So I was like, oh right. So I'm looking out the window like this. And they knock on the door. Well, the door was open, and they sort of shouted hello or whatever. And the woman came, and she just mumbled something. And the guy came out the back garden and came around the front. And all the police, well, I don't know what they said, but they just said something quick, got in the van, and went off. And I thought, oh, right, well, obviously they're meant to be there. They must be moving in. But it's just funny how they were sat on the across the road that early, and it was just weird with the door and everything. But then after, I was telling my friend, and I said, I wonder what it was about, because he was doing the front and stuff. And then in the end, on the Monday, my friend came on. She's like, well, I'll ring, and I'll see how much it's going for, because if they say, oh no, sorry, it's gone down, it's obviously they're moving in. It was just a bit weird. I thought it was just a bit weird what was going on. But apparently they didn't. So someone just was moving in yesterday, and this was a few weeks ago. But someone was moving in yesterday. So what I think had happened was, I don't know, my friend said, I think there's some people that go around the, or what do you call it, employ people to clean the houses before, people start looking around. So I think that's what it was. But I think because she was heavily pregnant and husband was with her, I think he'd come to help her clean up. I think he'd gone around the back, because he was pulling weeds out in the front garden and clearing it all. But it was just the thing with leaving the door wide open. And so now I just think, I won't be ringing the police next time I see anything dodgy. But then again, next time it could be something really dodgy. So it's like, I mean, it's good that the police came to check, but then, I don't know, just... Anyway, as you can see, this has gone totally dry, and it feels really weird, and I feel like I could be in Night of the Living Dead. Oh, so I'll go and see what it's like. Oh, are we filming? Are we filming? Are we filming? Yeah, I've just took it off. It's really nice. It's made my skin feel soft, and I've just put my cream on, and I just realised that um, I'm putting my night cream on. It's not night time, but oh well, it's cream. And this was the creams that I got from that I put up the other day from Aldi, and they're really, really nice. And then I got the serum as well, which I said I'd double up. But you know what? I've just forgot to put on. I forgot to put this on. I keep meaning to put that on underneath, to be underneath your moisturisers. But I did put it on yesterday. I've just got to start getting in the routine of putting it on. I know makeups and stuff have like factor 15 and stuff, but that's factor 50, and I don't really like getting the sun on my face because, as you can tell, my face is a bit red now because I'm rubbing it. But I have a lot of freckles. I'm quite freckly, um, and they come out even more in summer. And I just don't not not. I mean, I'm saying I'm a sun person, but I just can't sit in it like I used to when I was younger. And I'm not that bothered about getting it on my body, but I don't necessarily like getting on my face. It doesn't really bother me because obviously it can warm my face up with, bronzers and stuff anyway. So, and it's aging anyway. But I think it's a bit red after the mask. I think it's quite warm in the mask. But yeah, so I've got some makeup on now because I'm looking like death. But yeah, it feels quite fresh and nice. Um, I'm probably going to do a talk about my eyebrows. I don't know if you've noticed this one. It's a little bit lighter than this one because I do have them, the semi-permanent makeup. I have got hairs there, but I was, an 80s, 90s child, and we used to pluck our brows. And anyway, that's another story if anyone's ever thinking about going for it. This one only faded because I didn't go back for you get a top up, a free top up, and I think it was after I had Finn, because you can't have it done when you're pregnant, and for some reason I couldn't go back. So when I go back, because I should be going back, don't know when I'm going back, but when I do go back, I'll make sure that get my top up. But that's another thing I shall talk about. So see you later.